Today I have a Garmin Tactix Delta 6 series and fénix 6X Pro Solar Titanium Edition. And really what I want to talk about today is how much Tactix Delta is better than original fénix 6X Pro, having in mind that both of these watches have very similar features, exact same bezel size and form factor, but there's a big difference in price and how it feels after a year or so. Is it worth to invest extra money for Tactix Delta compared to fénix 6X? Let's dive into that. We'll talk about various aspects like materials, style, extra features, overall look and feel. So let's start. First, there are differences in materials used. So this is a military spec device. So basically it's tougher, it's more rigid and will hold through more challenges. But let's say fénix 6X, it's still a tough watch, still good materials, and you also can get both watches with sapphire glass, but only Tactix in Series 6 version, only Tactix Delta was possible to have with solar battery and sapphire glass, while fénix series were possible either only one option, meaning either it's sapphire glass and non-solar, or it's solar but has a not as tough glass. And I wore this one for on and off, I would say mostly for about a year. And as you can see, actually you can't really see, there are a few minor scratches on the glass and few scuffs along the bezel, and this one is titanium version, so actually I would say steel version would hold up better because it is same color as the coating, and with titanium, because it's dark black, you can see that original color is coming through, so it's not as nice as steel version would look like after that period of time of use. But other than that, it looks good, it almost as new. While this one, it had tougher times. It was a review watch for whole that year, and I had it for a couple of times. So it's seen worse case scenarios and some hits along the bezel, but it's holding on quite well. So this one has a sapphire glass, while this one is non-sapphire, and you can see few scratches, but to be honest, I have no idea how those happened, because also it was a review watch which lots of people actually had. Would I pay extra for sapphire? I think yes, because it's an investment for a long time. You will not be replacing like some other watches like every year or so. If you buy it for good, for longer period of time, for a couple of years. So I think sapphire is a good option. But other than that, materials, both of these watches are very tough, very strong. So unless you are having a or you just want to have like really toughest watch you can get, toughest Garmin watch you can get, this is definitely a best option. If you are not like hitting rocks and doing military operations and things like that, I don't think it's worth just because of materials. And let's talk about style right now. You may know that Garmin releases some specific watch faces for specific watches, and Tactix Delta have a couple of watch faces which you cannot get on other watches unless you get like third-party watch face, which will not be as good as effective. But it is a nice touch. But other than that design, really, to be honest, I like Tactix Delta much more. It looks more rugged, and it looks better in my opinion. Other than front bezel, it really doesn't have too much of a difference on the other side. It's very similar, just different type of specs and also thermal shock, shock resistance, and what else do we have here? Sapphire glass and DLC coating, which this one is power glass as we call it, 100 meters, as well as Tactix Delta and titanium coating. Also, to make a note, this is our original watch band which comes with both 6X Pro and Tactix Delta, but this is another Garmin watch band which I like best on any watch really, because of breathable material. So it's as we call it, ultra fit band, so you can get it on Amazon or have a look, link down below. In the beginning, I mentioned extra features, and really what kind of extra features Tactix Delta has. I would say most people would not care about those extra features, like stealth mode, which basically tracks GPS, but will not report any location data. For instance, if you use Strava, you will have very precise distances, but will not have a map data, and basically it will not record any map data. Night vision, if you have night vision goggles, that's a super amazing feature for you, but most people will not. And like if we go into workout modes, we have some crazy workout modes which most likely no one cares about. Tactical, Jump Master, Track Me, whatever else it's specific for Tactix Delta. So really, unless you're looking for those specific features, you will not care about most of those features there. While saying that most features really don't make a difference, but there is a one called Killer Switch, which or Kill Switch, which basically is something I often show off to have a like conversation starter or something like this. So no one really understands in most cases what does the kill switch mean. Does it kill you, or does it blow up the watch, or things like that? So it's interesting just to bring it up. And basically what it does, it will delete all the data from the watch. So in case you are doing a military operation and you're really caught by your enemy, you can delete all the data from your watch. So it sounds a bit funny in the usual case scenario. Could be very useful in some complicated cases. And really, if you want to have a look what happens exactly and how it looks like when Killer Switch is fully activated, please subscribe. I will be doing a shorts on this one shortly. So subscribe, you will see what happens exactly. And really, to sum up, I mentioned in the beginning that this is my personal 6X Pro titanium solar. I really wanted solar, which I'm not exactly, I'm so happy about it, because really in a good day, if I'm not exercising, it will stay at the same percentage if I spend a lot of time outside. So if I start the day with 65, I will end it with 64 battery percent left. If I exercising, it will discharge slower. This one is a cheaper version without solar, but with sapphire glass. And really, would I say it's worth paying extra few hundred to get a solar in Series 6? I don't think so. In Series 7, which basically will apply, comparison of this will apply to Series 7 as well, because there will be newer versions with some more features, but they will both have similar differences in materials, toughness, extra features and things like that. So getting back, really, solar, I don't think it's worth it, but watch overall, I don't know, it has something about it. I like it more. I like this watch after wearing it for a couple of months, after getting back to this one for half a year, and then again wearing this one. Something about this watch is really, it's hard to explain. It's hard to base it with data. It's hard to, it feels nice. It feels good. And if I would compare these two one-to-one, definitely I'm picking Tactix Delta, having in mind that, let's say, 7 Series Tactix Delta will cost much more than 7X Pro. And let's say if I will get 7X Pro and will use that extra money to get a heart rate monitor, which will get more precise data for heart rate, will get running dynamics and things like that, it's a hard one. It's a hard pick, because basically I would say if you have an extra amount which you can spare and it's not something you would be rather spending it on, definitely Tactix Delta is worth the choice. But if you have some other things you want to, let's say, maybe buy instead of that extra cost which you would add to the watch, then it's really a tough one. It's really a tough one. I'm not sure if I would be able to justify it, reason to actually get Tactix Delta over, but after a year or so, I still regret a bit. I would like to have Tactix Delta instead of 6X Pro, so there is something unexplainable about this version, about this uniqueness, about this design, about its ruggedness that actually makes me think twice. And really, I guess you'll have to make your decision and see how it goes in the years to come. Like I said, it will apply to 7 series as well. So if you have any specific questions about these watches, or maybe even about Series 7, I could do my best to answer those based with some reliable data and reliable information. So drop those questions below, and thank you for watching.